And also check my Patreon for the last notice. Okay, we're facing to the left. Hey, Laurel. You are here pretty early. And Jay, I guess, is here. I'm seeing you on the chat. Should probably turn down my pressure sensitivity a little bit. I am tired. I will probably, not tired, but busy. I will probably be making this a short stream. An hour to an hour and a half. It is Hell Week for me, which is the last week of the month where everything is due. So that is why it'll be a short stream. Come the fuck on. Pup pup. My dog's been pretty rambunctious today for the last, since I woke up. So I'm sort of on edge from that. She does this every time, every Saturday basically. I also woke up late today, but I can accept that because I went to bed late. I've been editing the thesis essay for my friend, and it takes about an hour to edit every page, and it's 25 pages. That's due on Tuesday, so that combined with the commissions and comics has left me very strapped for time. I did warm up today, but it wasn't very good warm up because of the dog. and I was mostly lining commissions that I sketched. But I might be a little crabby today due to all of that. How are you doing, Laurel? And hello to Gwen. I only wish they had brought the thesis paper to me sooner so that I wasn't pushing back my schedule in order to do it, but they've been in college for a while now, and I would like to help them get their degree. I'm trying to think of a modest way to say I'm very good at editing papers, but it's not coming to me. I wouldn't trust anyone else. Trying to think of a cool scarf to go with this, but I might just do a choker sort of deal. I have a lot of outfits already picked out for this stream. People can suggest things, but I'm not going to rely on suggestions this time. Just get right into it. I would like to attempt to draw Remy again. I've also been cleaning up Fresh Meat's script. 1 month to bring a script to fruition is not a lot of time. I will post the reference image I was using after I'm finished. I actually drew an image similar to this one for one of my D&D characters about the reality of like wearing capes. This one is not hanging a lampshade on it though. I feel like Oates works with being messy. Back when I was a freshman in high school, I took an art class, and everything I learned about drawing cloth I have forgotten. Don't go to art school, kids. It's not worth it. I'm going to bring this up a little bit because it's blowing in the wind so much. Shouldn't draw anything after. I'm obviously not going to be able to screenshot this one. Something interesting I noticed when I updated Otis's reference is that the spikes on the back of their neck and their tail got longer. Just naturally occurring design development. Alright, I'm gonna slap some value on this. Otis has a very flexible wardrobe, although I usually default to sort of loose clothing like Batwing type shirts. Alright, that should be good enough. going to put this up on Patreon as a notice. And then start I'm also going to get some water and turn on the air. By the way, here is hold on, the outfit that I was referencing. Patreon recently broke their coding for posting anything with tags a little bit. Usually, or before, what you could do was you could separate a tag by putting a comma or hitting enter. Now, if you put a comma, it will put that tag, and then it'll make that tag again with a comma in front of it, so you could put another comma and it would be the same tag just with a comma at the end. So you have to hit enter instead of putting a comma. But the comma still functions as, okay, you finished this tag, now you can't edit it anymore, as a command. Okay, I'm going to start with Remy because the last stream I remember I did not do so well with her. I have a different outfit for her this time. And I need to pull up Remy's reference. Remy will need color because tackiness honestly requires a lot of clashing usually. Don't want to make Remy look too young. Eye bags usually help with the whole age thing. Furries are sort of difficult or challenging to age properly. Animals don't age in the same way people do. Visibly. And they usually don't live as long. At the same time, I don't want to give every aged character I have a washed out color palette because their fur and scales usually dull from age, and that's the biggest sign. Want her cheek to be a little lower. High cheeks also indicate a young age, usually, visually. Remy has fun eyebrows. They're sort of like dot eyebrows, but not really. They have a little bit more length to them so they can emote. She is way up there, huh? I want to give her a tacky tie. She doesn't wear ties all the time, but I would be shocked if she didn't have a few tacky ties to wear to serious occasions. You think she went to her first job interview and she was like, oh fuck, I actually don't have any ties I can wear. She got the job anyway. A happy ending. She still wore a tie, like she could have just not worn a tie, but she did it. I've been growing an affinity for drawing floppy, low-set ears. She doesn't really have any bangs, so it's probably good to help show her age. I've been cleaning up fresh meat character designs, and I did Tabitha last night. She has similar hair to Remy's, but Tabitha has bangs, so my first instinct was draw some bangs. I'm gonna zoom in for this part. This is her straight passing tie. Her gay tie is just a keyboard smash printed out. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm pretty sure they reversed the buttons for zooming in and zooming out in Psi 2 from Psi 1. Oh my god. I would die if I had to fucking draw this. Remy is retired, but her career was an editor on a newspaper, which later became digital, I'm assuming. In Plain or Simple, Otis was intended to mention that the internet, or having it be public, is fairly recent. Remy, where's your reference here? Here we go. I'll post the image that I'm using as a reference for this outfit afterwards as well. It's sort of a short button-down shirt. Gonna do the collar sticking up a bit from the tie. I want to at least fit in some khakis or jorts here, which have a design on them, if possible. I feel like she started wearing jorts ironically at some point and just didn't stop. I'm going to give a little more curve. I know something people do a lot when they're drawing fat characters is they draw the shirt not going all the way down the belly, which is, one, not usually how fat people wear shirts, and also pretty disrespectful, so I want to avoid that. I'm gonna make the buttons a little bigger. Remy's tacky, but aesthetically tacky, not slob tacky. Probably put her tail in there somewhere. Okay. So it's sort of like a block pattern or checkerboard pattern, but big checkerboard. It'll look tackier once I add the color. that's her tail. I see. I'm seeing it. Alright, let's color her. Get to the real meat of the problem. Should probably put her base colors down first. I've only colored her once so far, so I'm not super familiar with her palette yet. It's not a good drawing position. It's making my wrist hurt. This is the first couch I've been on that really doesn't offer a whole lot of positions that I can draw in without eventually getting achy. I should get a desk probably, but it was not in the budget this month. Playing fast and loose with the coloring here. With Remi's markings, I tried to make them pretty antelope. She is based off of Jewish lore about unicorns. And I wanted to try making a unicorn that still looked like a unicorn, but didn't look like a horse with a horn. Which is why I went with antelope. all of the blocks of color here that sort of mess with each other are irritating me, but I'm trying to ignore it. I think what I did here, I'm looking at her reference again, is I used two different teals. I still like Remy's color palette a lot, despite the annoyances. It's a rainbow. Pastel rainbow. Remy is one of the characters. I usually try not to give a character an eye color that isn't present somewhere else in their design, but Remy is a character that I made an exception for because I didn't want to put purple into the design more. I'm not a fan of purple, unfortunately. Although I'm very vocal about that. Let's check out what's up with Remy's tail. Okay. Puffs at the ends of tails irritate me a little bit because I draw the whole tail and I don't want to erase what I drew. but I should. Logically, it would be covering up the tip. Alright, now I can do the close. The smileys will be quick, so I'm going to do them first. Fashion seems simple to draw until you watch it in action. A lot of little details, which is why I usually just default to jeans and t-shirt. I'll check on the chat in a second here, since I haven't for a bit. Actually I love the aesthetic of a unicorn having a lion tail. I think my first introduction to unicorns visually was The Last Unicorn, which might be a contributing factor, but let me look at this shirt again. Okay. I'm going to do this on a different layer. But I never really liked the movie as a child because the harpy freaked me out. This is her I'm going to a wedding outfit. Maybe a little pagro because she's widowed. Not very happy about other people getting married. I'll probably clean this up after the stream, but I do want to get the general idea down. I am sort of just randomly selecting here when it comes to colors. I'm not really eyeballing the shirt. There we go. And her pants, which won't take that long. They are that classic teal and purple design. I remember reading some sort of copyright drama regarding this design, but I don't remember what. I know that a woman designed this pattern, which became very infamous. I think it might have been stolen, or she wasn't paid or something. Adding a little bit of the classic texture just to make it more recognizable. One reason I would recommend, or why I personally practiced with the binary tool and eventually just decided to keep that style, was because it really helps you understand how to recreate textures much quicker. Once you know how to make textures from the shapes that you're seeing, it's not so hard to transfer that to painting or more realistic, softer brushes. Alright, that's enough of Remy. I also had an outfit up for Sandra. I'll see if anybody suggested anything though. Yeah, we're good here. Okay, let me post what I was referencing real quick, and then I'll move on to Sandra. That's the shirt, and this was the tie that I was taking for inspiration. The shirt technically has a bunch of little lines that help with the whole tacky look, which is why I said I will probably clean it up off stream. Let's merge these two layers. There we go. And pull up Sandra's reference and the outfit that I was going to draw her in. Okay. That brush is too big. She doesn't just have eyelashes, she sort of has an implied dark upper lid, implied eyeshadow. No eye bags on the bottom though. which I can live with. Her eyebrows are usually shaped a little bit. She's big on the makeup part of femme, whereas Aubrey is more feminine clothing only. Sandra is technically an XP of a D&D character that I have, but I changed her significantly because the D&D character is butch and not femme. But she does have schizophrenia like the original character she's based on. Let me actually look at this shirt to see what the collar looks like. Okay. Might actually even bring it up a little higher. Something I'm pretty sure I picked up from Nofna is a lot of my characters with fur have places that fluff out to help identify them as characters. So, for example, Sandra has a noticeable tuft at the base of her neck. Chains, my worst enemy. But it looks really cool, so I'm doing it anyway. It's not that I'm even bad at chains, they're just very time consuming for obvious reasons. When I'm more serious or I'm drawing it in, like for a commission or in a comic, I'll usually draw out a line before I draw the chains so that it doesn't look stiff. Fuck it here. I don't want to get too nitpicky. I really like Sandra as a character. I haven't done much with her yet, as with most side characters. They'll all get spotlight when the character they're supporting gets a short comic or a side comic. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. She showed up for a panel or two in one of Izzy's sketch comics. Let me look at this one more time. I'll probably only do a bust of Sandra too. Since the main focus is on the top. I definitely get what people mean when they say Sandra's intimidating, like she looks like someone who would be judging you if you were on a date. She makes it very visually obvious that she deserves a lot of time. And I respect her for that. I wish collars weren't so heavily associated with BDSM because they are very nice accessories. As someone who enjoys metal in my wardrobe. Without wearing literal chainmail like Sandra's predecessor. I want to make this droop a little more. Alright, onto the shirt, which is sort of low cut. And it's got an interesting button layout. Oh yeah, I was drawing her hand here because I want to give her one glove. I feel like Aubrey's the type of lesbian who would make a think piece about how it's lesbophobic, that they don't want to, how it's femphobic, that people don't want to date her because she's got long nails and refuses to cut them. Sandra, I think she just deals with it. Okay, sleeves don't come all the way down. Gonna fix that tangent right there. Izzy, basically, when I made her, I decided that she would be more interested in femmes. Like, femmes would be her type. She would obviously still date a butch, but she's naturally inclined towards more feminine lesbians, so that I would start including more femme characters, even if they're just side characters. They don't come naturally to me, mostly because of the fashion, which is very time consuming in both the research and drawing department. And the sleeves, I actually shouldn't draw this part because sleeves are right around here. Let me zoom out and do a quick body sketch for her. Get rid of this first. She's sort of hourglass shaped. Or 8 shaped, I should say. The tiny waist part I did not include in the hourglass. Anatomy tip: when you're drawing a spine curving, the hips always tilt the opposite way that the shoulders do. So if you ever have a problem with the pose, you might be tilting the shoulders or the hips the wrong way. Because Sandra is schizophrenic, she smokes, as do most schizophrenics. Alright, should be decent. This is cut a little too low. Drawing her hips a little too low. Let me check on the chat here. It hasn't been researched that heavily, but nicotine obviously helps medicate schizophrenia in a way that many prescription medications do not. I know someone who got a temporary prescription for nicotine patches. Alright. So this shirt has an extra part to it on this side that's like a button. It doesn't really unbutton. I don't know how to explain it. Women's clothing tends to have useless aesthetic shit, like pockets that aren't actually pockets and things like that. So it makes sense to me. Very large buttons. Also has a little collar or lapel on here. I might give Izzy a third girlfriend at some point. I feel sort of weird that she and both of her girlfriends are cis. I don't want to imply that casual lesbians don't date trans women, basically. I feel like Izzy is a very casual lesbian. And on this thing, this lapel is a bunch of metal plates. Very thin and flat. I think this is a zipper. If not, I am retconning it to be a zipper and not more buttons. There were actually patches on this, but I don't really want to draw them. And a little splatter design. There's a belt here, which has some chains on it, but I'm going to cheat and do the very easy kind of chain because it's small. I want to do one more after Sandra because I would feel bad only doing two in a stream. Not sure who I want to do. So that's open game to suggestions. Else I'll just draw Ipsy again. Maybe Izzy. Little bobby pin here. Or paper clip. No, that's bobby pin. Fake pockets here. That's about as far as I'm going to go for Sandra. I might color in real quick, if only because... Oh, I didn't give her a fucking glove like I wanted to. Just one glove. Nicole. Alright, let me look up something for Nicole. I did redesign her recently, so I should draw that more than once. Alright, I think this will work. Hold on, I'll post it. The one with the puffballs on the sleeves. Also, I'm going to post Pop Pop. I'm going to post the one I was using for Sandra. I have to pull up Nicole's reference. Which I would like to do outside of my side tab. Here we go. I have so many reference tabs open currently. Glasses first. Which I don't want to make too pointy, if I can help it. Trying to give the nose itself a line of action instead of being so weird about it. I finally figured out how to draw expressions within cartoon glasses, and it's like this. The vaping is the best part about Nicole. Gwen, I'm glad you like it, because you are one of the only people who likes Nicole. Probably because I haven't done a whole lot for Nicole. Currently trying to figure out how to emotionally attach myself more to her. Alright. I was going to say time for the outfit, but I want to finish her head first. Don't want to make her neck too thin. That was something that was pointed out to me about Sugar when I was doing Dropout, was that even though Sugar's a fat character, her neck was pretty thin. So I took that into account when making other fat characters. Nicole's on the small side, but still. Going to try to do the wool texture to the best of my ability. But I want to take a minute to do Nicole's body here. I'm going to move her laptop a little bit. try to do the pleating on the skirt. Pleating really gets me for some reason. Not a lot of commentary on this one, I'm just doing the textures. Should probably add her tail in. This laptop doesn't need to be redrawn. Alright, that should be good for this stream. Thank you everybody who showed up. And I believe this is the last stream of the month, so no idea what I'll be doing next time.